What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Stack Sats Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. What up, Garrett? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Garrett. Choo. Dang, it is Wednesday, and just like that, we're at the middle of the week. Hump day. What up, Paul? Let's go. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Paul. Middle of the week. Lunchtime, actually, of the middle of the week if you're Pacific Standard Time, which means we are exactly at the middle of the week. Coasting all the way to Friday from here. Coasting all the way out. Today, we're going to do what we do every Monday through Friday, which is stack a little sats. Carl in the house, what up? What up, Carl? Let's go. You'll always be Carl. Carl. Don't change your name for anybody. You might have to change your identity again after you stack so hard. What up, Leonard? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Carl and Leonard. Guys, stay tuned to learn how to beat inflation. If it's the first time watching the show, welcome. This is the Stack Sats Show, where we teach you about Bitcoin for a beginner, from a intermediate Bitcoiner to a beginner Bitcoiner, right? I get rid of all the toxicity for now, just to get you onboarded, just to get you to the basics of how to beat inflation. Okay, I'm gonna give you the goods right now, right before we jump into the whole show, so you don't have to watch the whole show. But let me give you the goods. The way you beat inflation is by saving in Bitcoin. Okay, you buy Bitcoin, you take it off of the exchange into your self custody, into a wallet that you have the keys for, that you control, and you chill. That's it. That's how you beat inflation. And you don't have to do anything else beyond that to get more wealthy, because every piece of every fraction of wealth you put into Bitcoin will continue to appreciate over time, because the way the government prints money and banks issue debt, they're always going to continue to expand the money supply. So in essence, they're working for you now. They're making you more wealthy. So the more you get into Bitcoin, the better. Okay, those are the basics. Let's move on to the show. And there you go. If you're watching this out of curiosity, that is the main signal for the show. But let's get into it. What up, McLovin? I see McLovin in the chat. Round of applause from the live studio audience for McLovin. Welcome. Good to see you in here. Okay, let's get the show started. What is the price of Bitcoin today? Let's jump into set strength. All right. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $51,063. You can buy 1,958 Satoshis for a single dollar. What the heck is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar has 100 cents, a Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. Okay? So don't be intimidated by the $51,000 price tag. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once to start enjoying the benefits of shielding your wealth from inflation. You can do it for as little as $5, $10, depending on your exchange, right? So yeah, start stacking sats and start enjoying the benefits of not being robbed by inflation. I have a little video I'm going to show you guys a little bit later during the Why We Stack segment coming up next, from an episode of the Tuttle Twins TV show. It's an animated series. It's really good, but it's a great way to explain inflation, and I think you guys will dig it. Stay tuned if you haven't seen that already. All right, moving on. Wow, five likes just like that. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the 5 likes. Thanks for tuning in. Have you done a show on UTXOs? I haven't moved my BTC from Swan yet, and after learning a bit about UTXOs, it makes sense to deposit large amounts so you don't make your sats turn into dust. Great question, Garrett. I love it. Let's cover that during the next segment, which we like to call. Let me finish the segment, and we'll do that next, Garrett. That's a great question. All right, let's say you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day you'll have 19 Satoshis. I'm telling you, we're going to get less and less Satoshis per penny as the price of Bitcoin goes up and as the purchasing power of the dollar decreases. All right, let's jump into the next segment of the show that we like to call Why We Stack. Okay, so the price of everything seems to be going up when you're measuring it in terms of dollars, But if you start to save in Bitcoin and you measure the prices of things in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of Satoshis, the prices are actually going down. Okay, it's just a reflection. It's just a more true reflection of what the dollar is doing when you start looking at it in terms of Bitcoin. Okay, now Garrett has a great question. He says regarding UTXOs, and UTXOs stands for unspent transaction outputs. Okay, the way that the Bitcoin works, when you spend an amount on something and you send Bitcoin to an address, your transaction actually sends out the whole amount of whatever your wallet's containing. It spends whatever it needs to spend on that wallet you pointed it to, and then it returns the unspent transactions back to your own wallet. That way it's all tracked, right? So it doesn't take a bit of it. It sends it all and then sends most of it back to you. Okay, so that's how it works. So UTXOs are unspent transaction outputs, which is basically what that is, right? So there's as you guys know, if you guys don't know already, but let me explain to you real quick. As you know, when you have a Bitcoin wallet, you can create as many public addresses as you want for that wallet, and those addresses, those UTXOs, will will be associated with a certain amount of Bitcoin, however much Bitcoin you've deposited into that wallet ID, right? Into that wallet, like a bank account. So that account. So in order to send out sats from that account, you need to have a minimum amount, right? For example, let's look at the browser here. So for example, it's 18, 20, or 23 sats per VByte. That's how much it's going to cost you to write the transaction to the next block, right? If you don't have enough Satoshis in that wallet to cover the fees of writing to the block and pushing Satoshis out of there, then those Satoshis trapped in that wallet essentially become what's called dust, which means you can't really use them because it would cost you more to pay the fees than the value of the actual Satoshis that are in there, right? So Garrett's question has to do with, well, what is a number that you should be shooting for as a minimum size for each wallet ID that you use when you're receiving Bitcoin? Okay. I've heard different metrics. I've heard 0.01 is a good metric, right? And I've even heard 0.1 is a good metric, right? And we're gonna refer to this. We're gonna refer to this since we're talking specifically about the Swan Bitcoin exchange and how you withdraw, right? When you set up your Swan Bitcoin exchange to withdraw, you can set it up to withdraw after a certain amount, okay? And you give it a withdrawal address, a withdrawal wallet ID, okay? Well, you create that wallet ID on your wallet, and you take that wallet ID and you put it into your configuration for the Swan automatic withdrawal, and it's gonna have a meter there. You say, okay, withdraw automatically at 0.00. I think it's 0.001. So you'll have a UTXO that's that long. If you go and change the address each time before it withdraws, then you'll have a bunch of different UTXOs with 0.001 Bitcoin in them, right? If you keep track of those withdrawals and you decide to do it every 10 withdrawals, right, and you get 0.01 size UTXOs, that's probably a little bit safer, right? Or you could go all the way to 0.1 UTXO, right? What it comes down to is the balance between not being left in dust. In other words, having enough Bitcoin in a wallet that you can spend without being over on what the fees would be. Or on the flip side of that is if I have a UTXO that's like too big, if I have a giant UTXO with like 2, 3, 4 Bitcoins in there, right? And I use that to pay for something, then the person that I'm paying can look up my wallet address and see that I have 5 Bitcoin, right? So there's a balance there between the privacy aspect and having enough Bitcoin in there that it won't turn to dust once the fees go up, and that's basically that's the basic premise. So so now that we have all the information, kind of like the background information to be able to answer this question, let's go to Garrett's question. So, that's how UTXOs work, and that's the difference between something turning into dust and not, Garrett. So the I guess the guideline that's out now based on other people I've seen and talk about this topic is like 0.01 or 0.01 Bitcoin seems pretty standard. But you can do 0.1 Bitcoin as well. Okay, and that comes down to, again, how you want to manage it. Now, once you get started stacking and you want to move your Bitcoin from off the exchange into your self custody wallet, you can decide to do it while you're removing it from the exchange, or if you want to be like extra sneaky and have one UTXO per withdrawal from exchange, it's going to cost you more in the future to consolidate them to one. So what I would recommend is, if you're going to go push for like I said, 0.01 Bitcoin per UTXO, then you go into your Swan configuration, you set up the one address to withdraw to, let it withdraw to that address for 10 withdrawal cycles, and then you'll get to 0.1 Bitcoin. And after you have 0.1 Bitcoin in that UTXO, create another wallet within that same, create another, I guess, receiving address within that same wallet, and it'll all show for you in the same spot. It'll still add it up together for you, right? But just know that it'll be in two UTXOs, and then you basically replace the first UTXO on your Swan account with the second one, and let it cycle through for another 10 withdrawals, right? Once you get 10 withdrawals off of that one, then you have a second UTXO with 0.01 Bitcoin, right? And that's probably the simplest way to manage it without having to go back and redo more things in the future. Because if you were to withdraw to an individual UTXO each time you withdrew from Swan, then when you got to 10 different UTXOs, you'd have to pay a fee to write the transactions from all those 10 different addresses into one when you consolidate it. And right now the fees are pretty cheap, but still you're paying more sats than you should have to, right? So I think the cheapest way to do it would be to actually like I just described, like the first one I described, which would be to set it up and manually switch it over to your next UTXO when you feel like you got to 0.1 or even 0.1. Sorry, 0.01 or 0.1, right? That's what I would recommend. Again, it's a very good topic. It's a very good question. So if anybody else in the chat has a different way of managing that, let us know. Or what do you suggest? What do you think is the lowest UTXO you would have to prepare yourself for future, so that your sats don't turn into dust? All right, we'll keep that going. That's a really good question. It's a really good question. All right, that covers our Why We Stack segment. Yeah, that covers Why We Stack segment. Okay, so if there's any other questions that pop up in the chat, please pop them in there. And if you're watching this replay and you have a question, and you're wondering, dang, I missed the live stream again. Well, leave a question in the comments, and I will answer your question on tomorrow's episode if you leave a question. Okay, so there we go. All right, let's get into the next segment of the show, which we like to call Stack Recap, because we don't only talk about stacking sats, we actually stack it every day, every Monday through Friday here on the show. And let's see, where are we at? All right, we are at almost 15% gains, right? But don't be impressed by this number, okay? Be impressed by this number. That's the only number that matters. How many sats you have under your control, right? It cost us $1,380 to accumulate 3 million Satoshis. And if we were to accumulate the same amount of Satoshis in today's prices at the weaker dollars, with weaker dollars from today, it would cost us $1,586, right? Win Lambo, right? I don't think I could ever own a Lambo, McLovin. I would maybe drive it once or twice and then be over it. But hey, different strokes for different folks, right? All right, since the beginning of the show, we started the show back in May 22nd, 2023. We started stacking then, and we are up to 13.8 million Satoshis. The show stack is now by far bigger than most people's stacks in around the world. And that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary, because when I think about this situation, I think to myself, wow, 0.13 Bitcoin. It doesn't sound like a lot, right? It's about $7,000. It doesn't sound like a lot now, right? But in the future, this little show that's just the dude stacking sats on the internet could have a bigger net worth than some companies that are out today in the future, right? So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild when you think about it that way. Okay, it's pretty wild when you think about the burrito index that we like to reference. We're so close to 50% off on burritos. Now, mind you guys, I don't actually go and pay with satoshis at the burrito store at the Mexican shop, but I do measure the prices of things in terms of Bitcoin based on the price of Bitcoin that day. So even though my burritos cost me $13.70 all the way since October, and last week they cost me $13.70. It used to cost me 49,000 satoshis, and now it only costs me 26. If I went to buy a burrito today, it would cost me 26,833 satoshis. I wouldn't actually go spend the sats on that because it's not worth it. But it proves a point. It shows you, illustrates the point here that inflation is real, and even if the prices aren't going up, you're still losing value in terms of Bitcoin. So save in Bitcoin, so you can have everything in your life. If you had been saving in Bitcoin since October, everything in your life got 45.9% cheaper in terms of Bitcoin. Okay, wouldn't it be great if the cost of everything for you dropped by 50%, right? In this economy, right? When people are saying they're going through what's it called? What do they call it? The cost of living crisis, right? And there is a cost of living crisis if you're saving in terms of dollars. But if you're saving in terms of Bitcoin, there is no cost of living crisis, right? You're actually getting a discount more and more each day on the same stuff that you buy every day, right? All right. Anyway, pretty wild. Okay, so that's what we have for the stack recap. And today, since the price of Bitcoin is actually above our average buy price of 44,951. Today, we'll be doing a single stack, a single burger, our way right away, or a single stack. So today we're stacking $20 worth of Bitcoin, and there's nothing else left to do. Oh. But stack some mother loving set. Let's go. Do me a favor if you have any questions, do put it in the chat, and I will answer those for you. Any comments, welcome. Just no poop coining, please. No poop coining. All right, here we go. Jump into the browser. We're gonna buy $20 worth of Bitcoin. We get this preview going here, guys. So I don't dox myself on YouTube. Copy this. Today is episode 164. Wow. 164. All right, we're about to buy this coin. Just changed. All right, here we go. Cutting the music. Bringing the browser back in. And here we go, drum roll. We're buying $20 worth of Bitcoin right now, live. During the Stack Sats show, we're stacking live. Here we go. More drums. Just like that, little at a time, right? We're showing all of these purchases and showing all this stuff on the show to show that it's not difficult. Okay? If some dude on the internet can run a show on his own while purchasing Bitcoin, you can stack some sats too. Okay. Minus the distraction of running the live stream, talking to the camera, and putting the music and sharing the screen, you can do this. I believe in you. If you want to stack sats like I do here on the show with the Swan account and you don't have a stacking option yet, check out Swan. I dig their exchange because, oh, there it is. Bam! Done. All right. When we stack, we chill. Right? We're going to update the spreadsheet with today's buy. Well, I continue to talk about Swan. So Swan is good because they're not charging you the withdrawal fees when you take your coins off of exchange and into your self custody. They're not charging you that fee. Other exchanges usually will make you pay for the Coinbase. Coinbase will make you pay. Coinbase, Binance, all those other exchanges will make you pay for the withdrawal. They'll make you pay for the Bitcoin network fee. All right, here we go. Today's 2/21/24. We bought at. Oh, we got a discount from yesterday. $51,053. $20 worth, and the yield is 0.0003878. Wow, is that an acronym? No, it's not an acronym. What's it called? Where it reflects. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Boom. And just like that, we're at 3.143 million Satoshis. And the stacking continues. Will always continue. By the top, by the bottom. It doesn't matter. We Bitcoin cost average here. Just keep stacking. Don't worry about the price. This price is going to go up eventually and continually. All right, 38,763 Satoshis. And overall, for the whole lifespan of the show, we're so close to 14 million Satoshi. Maybe in a couple days. Is it? No, not a couple days. The sats per dollar now are so low. 38,000? Oh, yeah. Not even. 38,000. Oh, it'll be a while. It'll be a while. But we're there. We're getting it done. We're stacking sats daily. All right, anybody have any questions? I see 8 live stream watchers. Let's go. Welcome. If you're new to the show, hit subscribe and you'll be able to chat after 1 minute. Okay. If you have any questions, do put it in the chats. Let's watch this this video that I wanted to show you guys today. I totally forgot about it. Let's watch it because I think it's worth it. And if you haven't watched this series yet, it's pretty cool. It's on this app called Angel. I think it's a religious app. I'm not sure, but they have a bunch of religious content. But that you can watch this series on there for free, and you can choose to contribute to it if you want to. If you don't want to, you can still watch it for free. It's really good. It's called Tuttle Twins TV, and I think it's well worth a watch because they explain a lot of cool concepts with and it's a pretty entertaining cartoon actually. You can watch it with kids. You can play it for the kids, and the grown-ups will actually become orange pilled easier this way. All right, it's a sneaky orange pill. Let me just show you this section of it. It's called the Inflation Monster, or they're describing inflation in a really good way, and it's done with like really good animation. So let's check it out. Here we go. Oops, wrong one. Here we go. Hopefully I don't get dinged for this one. Here we go.
You see, inflation is a monster that starts here in the government mint. And spreads as the devalued money makes its way through households, cities, and entire countries. It's like the monster is stealing from people because the money saved up is now worth less.
This is terrible!
Inflation hurts a nation.
Does our government cheat to create money?
We didn't used to. The Federal Reserve has printed so much money since it was started in 1913, the dollar is now worth only 5% of what it was back then. That means that if $1 could buy you 10 beautiful lollipops in 1913, that same dollar could only buy half of one lollipop in your time.
Inflation is so cruel.
That's how the inflation monster works. And it grows and grows every day. Goggles up.
Why doesn't anyone do something about it?
Well, people can't see the inflation monster as clearly as you can right now because prices creep up slowly over time.
So how bad can it get if we don't stop the inflation monster?
Let's head to Zimbabwe in 2008.
Here in Zimbabwe, the prices of food go up every day.
Every single day? I get upset when our movie ticket prices go up once a year. Is this happening because of inflation?
In the early 2000s, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe increased the money supply, causing hyperinflation. Right now, one United States dollar is worth about 1 trillion Zimbabwe dollars.
I have 10 US dollars I earned selling corn dogs. Here, take it. Then you'll have $10 trillion and you'll be rich.
That's nice of you, but that 10 trillion won't get me very far when a loaf of bread now costs 5 trillion.
$5 trillion for a loaf of bread? It'd better taste amazing.
I understand that it sounds like a lot of money, and the government knows it sounds like a lot. That's why they keep printing it as a quick fix, but it only makes things worse in the long run.
Inflation hurts a nation.
Yes, thank you, Milton. Inflation makes the poor people poorer. By the time the new printed money gets to the poor population, the prices are already so high, the money can hardly pay for anything.
Would you take 3 trillion American dollars? It's the only cash I have.
Anyway, check that out, guys. Angel.com/Little Twins. Great series. This is like that's like season 2, episode 5, I think. I remember that episode. Very good show. I'm telling you, it's like a great way to orange pill. Well, I guess kids, but also like the parents, right? Put it on there. Like when the holidays are around and the kids and people are at my house, I'll put that up sometimes just to make it to start the conversation. Anyway, very cool. It's a good series. Good series. Alrighty. So, just like that, it is once again the end of the show. And I'm stoked that we got to hang out for a couple of minutes today. Today's show is extra short because I got some stuff to do after this. It's a long day for me today, but again, if I could find the time to run the show, do jujitsu, work, hang out with the fam, help kids with the homework, and stack sats, you can stack sats too. Okay? So I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Stack Sats Show. But remember, until then, if you're not stacking, you're slacking. Later, guys.